Hi, gentlemen. I wanted to talk about a perspective that I spoke about in a much older video called Home is Not a Holiday, talking specifically about how many guys mentally live in the red pill or manosphere space as though they were on perpetual holiday and never return home. A theory of mine about why they don't always feel comfortable where they are, even though they might feel euphoric. And it got me thinking about how this holiday mode or the honeymoon period in relationships are quite similar, and how there's a correlation between those initial liberating stages of the red pill, i.e. the holiday mode of freedom and liberation, and it's not quite your life, but you feel more free than ever before because you're not actually connected to sort of the day-to-day responsibilities. You are on holiday mode, effectively saying, fuck this, no one's going to tell me what to do, I'm just going to enjoy life, nothing matters. And I started to think about how the honeymoon period in relationships, that yes, it's designed for men and women to be in that euphoric drug-light state where they can procreate, that is long enough to make babies. And I started to think about how this honeymoon phase or holiday mode that we're in these initial phases, how they're quite similar. Yes, women are always fighting between two opposing forces, which is their desire for change, constant change, and their desire for security. I myself have always found that honeymoon period, the dating phase, quite uneasy. It was a bit too much like being on a high. I wanted to come down from it. I wanted reality to set in, routine. I wanted the waters to be calm because I knew that the honeymoon stage, the holiday mode, wasn't me. That was fun. That was an escape. A great escape. You feel great. I mean, you can't really point to anything when you're in that time frame. I mean, if you're on holiday and you've set aside that time to be on holiday, there is really no downside. You know, I'm taking this time being on holiday. I'm enjoying it. What's the problem? And indeed, what is the problem? There is no problem unless you're unaware that it's only either a temporary stage, a stage that is useful for something, and then you need to come back home to yourself, to your life, to your routines, to what is you. One of the most salient videos that Proteus made was the idea that in the manosphere, men are constantly trying to find this transition in the timeline of going from something to going to something, and never quite leaving the from, that liberating holiday mode. And people stay there. And as I said, I think it's a euphoric drug-like trap. Guys tend to stay in the from mode because it feels great. Again, what's the problem? I can't see any downside. And while you're in it, you can't. You're not going to be on holiday and thinking, oh shit, up ahead I have to return home. No, you're going to live in the present. You're going to live on holiday. But that's the trap, gentlemen. And I think that's the lobotomization that you can fall into, because the going to state, the coming back from holiday, you know, when the honeymoon period is over, that's stability, that's security, that's a good life. And you need to articulate that for yourself. You need to be interested enough in that mapless landscape of the going to something, of the post red pill liberation, of the post holiday mode, Coming back, what did you learn? Not just are you refreshed and you keep going on holiday, but if you're in that holiday, honeymoon, from mode, it feels great and you're living in that present moment, there is no problem. But gentlemen, it toxifies you, it kills you slowly. Look, you don't have to take my word for it. Many of you know that you feel like you're in the same red pill state or a similar one, or you've put on some different window dressing, you've moved to the left a bit, to the right, you've danced around, but it never feels as good as that initial liberating high of the red pill. And I'm not trying to disrespect any guy in that initial stage of the necessity for that holiday, for that honeymoon period to heal, to grow, to open your eyes, the splash of cold water on your face. Absolutely necessary, without a doubt, not disparaging or disrespecting anyone, especially if they've come from traumas that they can barely speak about. And the other addiction is the fraternity of guys in this space, and it's great. But I see it as I've come back home and I visit, talk to, share with these guys. We've come back to ourselves and now we're chatting. You know, the same way you catch up with your friends. Have a night of beer and pizza. You know, share stories. Twist that release valve and let off some steam. I don't know. I was always suspicious of that euphoric high of the from state, the honeymoon period, being on holiday. I loved it, but I was aware that it was compartmentalized. This would end. Enjoy it while it lasts, but I'm looking forward to it being over, whether it was dating, whether it was absorbing or being liberated by a red pill piece of wisdom. To me, it's similar to, you watch The Matrix and you don't put it on again immediately and just keep watching it for the 100th time. I look forward to, after the movie, talking with my friends that I saw it with, going into my life and implementing it and trying to, and revealing who I am and what my life is like now. Not changing who I am as a person. That's locked in from a young age. But a clarity of what you are and yourself in relation to the world. That's the thing. Stop just rewinding the Matrix and watching it over and over again, figuratively speaking. You need to take that afterwards, after the movie, and then think about it and converse with others about it and implement it ethically in your life. That's the liberating feeling after that movie, is what it meant to you, what it revealed, and hopefully the courage that you have to implement it ethically and morally in your life. No longer are things foggy and you can't see clearly. You've put on glasses and now you can see clearly, and you have no option but to act in a way that is more true and right. Be aware that that initial party must come to an end. It feels good, and stay in it as long as you need to, gentlemen. Some people need it longer than others. Some people go on different types of those initial holidays, and the honeymoon period's different for everybody. But you need to be going to something. Let the party be over. Come home from the holiday, gentlemen. Come home to comfort and peace and stillness, and the middle ground. Get off that roller coaster. It's the looking forward to the post honeymoon period of a relationship, if you're dating, to the post red pill moment where that euphoria ends. And I get the from aspect in the red pill community is very well mapped. 95% of channels out there that talk about red pill ideas, they talk from a well-repeated script. It's very well mapped, the from aspect of the red pill, and it feels great. And a lot of guys repeat those mantras, but very few are talking about the transition from to. The to is unmapped. It's completely you writing your own novel, scripting your own path. And I know that's scary, and some guys, unfortunately, they just don't have the intellectual curiosity or that author's mind of wanting to script their own lives. Like, no, I'm going to write my own life now. I'm done. I'm done playing a role in your movie. I'm the director and writer of my own movie. I'm going on my own path. That sort of singularity in relation to the world. You know, I'm the primary thing moving through the world. I'm the actor. I'm the director. I'm the writer. It's all about me, and I'm taking it all in, and I'm connecting with everybody. But that's no man's land. And most times we haven't been there before. So I get the from aspect is very well scripted, and many guys stay there. We repeat the well-rehearsed and well-scripted points, you know, hypergamy, male mother need, women are like this, men's nature, blah, blah, blah. The other thing can look like the void to the person that has no intellectual curiosity, isn't a figurative writer, an author, a philosopher, a thinker, a conversationalist, who really doesn't give a shit about all of that. I know it's easier to go to the well-mapped, well-rehearsed arena where virtually everyone's residing, the honeymoon period, the euphoria, the roller coaster, the liberation, the holiday. I would contend, know that the holiday's over, enjoy it while it lasts, but be conscious, especially when you start feeling homesick. Come home, gentlemen. Come home. As I mentioned in my last video, you can't live on holiday. And that goes for relationships with women, jobs, red pill information, anything. You have to come back to who you are, where you live, what your routines are, how you think, and what your ethics are. I hope that perspective was useful. If you find my videos enjoyable and informative, please support me in the low bar. I'll talk to you later.